couple things I've got to say. Where are Liverpool and where are Chelsea right now?
Chat to Brentford and Fulham and them, man.
Bro, 9th and 10th. Liverpool, man.
Crazy.
Do you know what? I think until the weekend, there was a part of me that still thought Liverpool would get top 4.
Honestly, I always have it, bro.
Yeah,
I'm always like, they'll get it.
But now, I don't know, bro. I
can't
think that top 4 might be set in stone.
Stop saving chat, man.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple things to touch on. Firstly, Brighton are an excellent side.
Yeah, just a team, isn't it?
I've seen EBL put a thread on Twitter and he said Brighton might be the best mid-table side ever in the Premier League.
I hear that.
Like, they've got, like, so many... Their recruitment is insane. Do you know they signed Mitoma from a university?
Mitoma.
Really?
Yeah, they signed him from a university team.
He turned down a contract to go uni, didn't he? And he's come back. He's an absolute monster.
Imagine he went uni. Wow.
Yeah.
Could have gone uni.
Don't go uni, bro.
Education's for bozos. You have to jump on the pitch. He's a monster. You got McAllister's come back from a World Cup, looking like an absolute god.
Casado,
absolute ballers, man.
World's coming in and doing the old.
Yeah.
Take him. Do you know what? Yeah, Welbeck's a joker. You won't hear from him for 3 months, and then
he would score against a big team.
Yeah, he'll appear and he'll score a banger. Like yesterday, the goal he scored, he flicked over someone's
sick goal, man.
Sick goal. Do you know what? Yeah, he's actually like he's low.
Nah, he's forged a good career, man.
Yeah. Do you know what? In 10 years' time, he's going to be a streets won't forget baller.
He will, bro. He will. He'll be Emil Heskey without the KSI.
Yeah. He'll be Emil Heskey with a tech download pack, bro.
Yeah, man.
Like, I'll never forget when he tried to chip Neuer, bro.
Man, he's a funny guy. Like, because you'll watch like Golden Premier League era sort of things on Sky Sports now, and then you just see a game with Danny Welbeck starting, and you think that was like what 2011 days, a bit later than that. And he was thinking, right, when he moved to Arsenal, scored in the FA Cup and knocked us out.
I remember when
he's an era's player, man.
He's been a few eras. You're right.
He has, and I remember when Mourinho came into United and he came out and was saying, "I never would have sold Welbeck." And like maybe United shouldn't have sold Welbeck at the time. Like he's never been like a prolific goal scorer, but he's got a habit. Like he scored that goal against Leicester for Arsenal. Scored against United in the FA Cup. Like he's got a habit of scoring these big goals in big games, and I think Brighton, without like a clinical striker, they still managed to just do this. Like Levi Colwill, I really hope they get him permanently because he looks like a great player. I mean, like Lamptey's fallen off a little bit, but they've got
Sanchez is a good modern goalkeeper. I think
he's got the bozo gene as well. Though,
he's got a bozo gene, but I feel like that's the type of keeper they need in terms of going forward a little bit.
Yeah, he makes great saves. He's got high volume of saves. He comes and catches the ball a lot as well.
But
guys like Solly Marsh always coming in.
The most improved player in the Premier League this season. He's still
a baller.
He's a baller, man. Like they're a great side, but Liverpool look like they've run out of ideas. I always thought this would happen eventually with Klopp, and I'll go out on a limb here. Yeah, I know Liverpool fans have like some weird sexual connection to the man, right? Like he can do no wrong, but I think it's time. It's time, man. Like
cut ties.
I think it's a mutual agreement thing because
he's a legend there.
You've got to understand. Sometimes you've died a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain, and that's it with every incident. I don't think in the modern game you'll ever get a Fergie or a Wenger.
No.
Like I don't think that will happen anymore. So I think like 7-8 years is probably the limit. And it's Klopp's 7th year, and his 7th year at Dortmund he almost got them relegated. His 7th year at Mainz he got them actually relegated, and it's his 7th year with Liverpool now, and I think it's a massive hammer blow if they don't get at least Europa League. I mean, if they finish 7th or 8th and they don't get Europe, or they get Europa Conference League, that puts the whole Bellingham plan in the bin.
It's like Mourinho's second season curse, isn't it? With this lot, with his 7th season, I think you're very much right. They've hit a ceiling. They've won. Don't get me wrong. I think when they won the Premier League and they won the Champions League, I think there's a lot of technicalities that made that team. That they were unbelievable. Don't get me wrong. The points tally and everything.
Technicalities today.
There was a few technicalities in there. There was no fans, and you know what I mean. But, like I think they've definitely.
A great team, though, man.
They were a great team, but I think now they've come to the other side of that, and it's just not there anymore. I also
think teams have learnt how to deal with this like aggressive pressing now. I think if you just put a ball over the top of it and get someone to run in behind.
I know. Why teams do that earlier?
I think people have now found a way of countering that, and I think now the balance that Arsenal and United have and even Newcastle in terms of they can sit in a mid block, but they can play a high line.
Yeah.
But they press with their front players.
Yeah.
Whereas Liverpool sort of pressed with everyone. Like you'd see Trent popping up at right wing or centre mid, and you'd have Robertson popping up at striker. I don't think it works anymore.
Yeah.
Injuries have caught up to them now, which everyone always said it would happen, including me, and it didn't, and then it did.
Yeah.
But now it's like crazy. I'm seeing Liverpool fans on Twitter saying they need to sack the board, they need to sack the medical staff. Like Klopp can't, like, bro, this guy could literally go on the pitch, shit on the floor, and make them lose, and then Liverpool fans will be like, oh, it's the board.
Yeah.
Like, and the thing is, as well, these lot took the piss out of United for saying Glazer's out, and now they're doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Literally, man.
And look, their board's awful. Like they probably need to go. The club want to go forward, but like at the same time, I know they all love Klopp, but there needs to be some accountability because he's persisting with Henderson. Persisting with Fabinho. Fabinho is not 30 years old. He's 36.
Worst player on that pitch, bro. Yesterday,
Fabinho.
You know, it was doo-doo.
He fell off hard.
He was so doo-doo.
Yeah.
I was watching it. I was thinking, raw, like this Liverpool team is actually a shell of what it used to be. It's such a shell, and I mean, Cody Gakpo,
Joel Matip
at striker, bro. That is the craziest thing I've ever heard. Oh my days! But I feel sorry for him because he's coming to a team that's clearly fallen off, and he's got to then show himself. But
this
then
is why players need advisors, bro.
Yeah.
Nunez, I think, is like he's a bright spark in a very dull team at the moment.
Yeah.
He's so bad at finishing right now, but he's still their technically their best player. Like, literally,
all Central C.
Like it's crazy to think that a couple of years ago we're thinking about this team being unstoppable and putting them in the same bracket.
I was hearing best Premier League team ever, but they've only won one Premier League.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hearing all these
techie,
stats. I'm like, right, these guys are the real deal. But now the injuries are coming. That's what I feel for Arsenal as well. Sorry to bring it back up again, but I do fear that about them. Yeah, they're doing well, but the class is different to form, and it's very, very different things.
It can happen to anyone. It's all hypotheticals. It can happen to anyone.
But I genuinely, I don't know what happened to him. And then obviously, as I mentioned before, Chelsea are just like...
I want to say something about Liverpool though, man. I've got a little bit of a half confession to me. I've been a massive fan of this Liverpool team, to be fair. I think it's easy for me to be a fan of this Liverpool team because you guys have your United affiliations. Liverpool, like, we don't really have a rivalry, Arsenal, Liverpool.
No, you don't.
We just have good games. But I was always hearing for years, system players, certain players are system players. I was always trying to be like, nah. But maybe certain players were system players. Maybe certain players were system players because...
If I could show this to Dodzi from 3 years ago and get an apology, I would love that, bro.
Look, because I have to check it now. Salah, I think Salah's sick. I do. I think in his prime...
I don't know what's happened to him.
He was good, but I don't know what's happened to him. He's still doing okay numbers. Mane was sick. Firmino was good. But that midfield, bro, Hendo... Like, you got to ask questions. Why was Hendo never really playing for England? You got to ask, why is Fabinho not in DM for Brazil? You got to ask, why is Wijnaldum... Where is he now?
They miss Wijnaldum.
They miss him now, but...
And they miss Mane as
They
well,
miss him, but it's not
That's
like...
the big one, Mane.
You know... And then he kind of joined later, but Thiago doesn't get picked for Spain. Like, Bayern Munich kind of in and out of the team.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Have
Gomez as well.
Have the new players they've signed, are they asthmatic?
Oh yeah, asthmagate.
Because I seem to remember them having the highest amount of asthmatic players in the league, and then having the old puffers.
Yeah, nice. It's techie.
So and I feel like they kind of run out of steam now.
I know.
Yeah, no, they.
I think I don't know. It must be. There must have been maybe a bit of juice,
maybe they don't believe in Klopp as much as people make out. Maybe they've. Because I think players often do turn on managers a little bit, and even if it's not straight up, it's subconsciously they do that, and they stop playing for him. You saw that with Chelsea as well, doing it previously. Keeping up, I must hate Chelsea. I've got something for him, but like I see it a lot happen where they will turn on the manager subconsciously, and the performances will drop.
Happened at United.
Yeah, exactly, same thing.
Happened with Ranić after 2 months.
Yeah, it's exactly. You saw them initially that it was a new manager bounce, and they think, Liverpool come out of the winning the Champions League. They won the Premier League for the first time. It was a lot of bounce, and they were behind what Klopp was doing. Then when the results started to change, injuries started to come in, the results weren't there, the mentality changes. It subconsciously happened. Van Dijk's out, there's no more leaders in that spine. It's like you're imagine you're a player listening to Jordan Henderson when you know he's a bozo at playing football. Like you're like, listening to him.
Do you know what this whole Liverpool and even to an extent, I know City's nowhere near that level, but it's made me really appreciate Wenger and Ferguson because it's so hard when you hit a brick wall like Liverpool have to go again and rebuild and still have the players on your side. It's so difficult to do that, and I think what Fergie did was unprecedented in terms of building side, keeping everyone on side. If one person crossed out of line, get out. I don't care how good you are. I don't care if you're David Beckham. I don't care who you are. You're out. I think that's unprecedented, and I don't think that's possible. Like, and with Liverpool, like everyone was talking about, I remember when Ten Hag in his first interview, people were saying, "Oh, do you think anyone can win the league when Klopp and Pep are here?" And he said, "Look, I respect both of them, but every era comes to an end," and it does. And I think even more so in this modern game, I think they've hit a brick wall, and it's very hard to come back from that.
Yeah, man. I mean, they have, and it's just it was coming, to be fair, like because Klopp, he struck gold with that system, man, and I felt like it was so fine tuned. Anyone they could have signed, like they signed Thiago. When I signed Thiago, I was like, is he even a Klopp player? Every time I sign a player now, I was like, is he a Klopp player? I don't know how that system works,
he's
bro.
He's another one who might be a little bit overrated. He's a great player, but like...
So how effective actually is he?
Yeah, how effective actually is he? And like, everyone goes on about like, oh, he's great at pinging the ball cross field, like stuff like that. Yeah, he is, but like... I don't know, man.
But when you play the way that Liverpool play with so much emphasis on the wingers, getting that ball out to the wing is really important. Getting it done quickly as well, and the fullbacks as well. Yeah. They getting that ball, pinging it across really quickly, and getting that fast injection of pace is what they needed. I think they're missing on the left. They're missing a lot of their sort of attacking players, and they've got Jota's out at the moment. They're missing him.
Guy's been out for time.
He's been out for ages, bruv, and he was doing well from that. He was not Mane's replacement per se, but he was.
Forgot about Jota.
You've forgotten about him. But the injuries to them have actually sort of killed them. Firmino's out. What's on the left? Sorry, mine's gone completely blank.
Well, Mane went.
Luis Diaz.
Diaz, these guys
was out. And again, Diaz wasn't. Don't get it wrong. Diaz wasn't amazing, but he had moments. But he definitely had.
He was great. He was moments. He was a threat. He was a problem.
He was a problem, and they're missing that a lot. And they've brought in Cody Gakpo now, and it's like they've got Nunes up front, but again, they're not the same. They're new players. They have to adapt. They have to adjust.
Like Gakpo and thing, Where could you imagine them in the 2019 team that won the Champions League? I don't know. I just feel like that system. I can
imagine Nunes in that team, but off like the left
wing,
not as a striker.
Yeah,
and I guess Diaz.
Yeah, Diaz.
Diaz. He's like I said, he's settled in very well.
And obviously Jota. I can imagine him in that team
again. They are missing. I don't get me wrong, they're missing players, and when Van Dijk's not there, they're clearly a shell of themselves.
But then he's been a bozo this year as well.
Yeah, but come on, it's because of the midfield. It's because of the midfield.
Aura, man. This guy defends off aura.
Nah, man. If you have a good midfield in front of you, like Man United do, Casemiro, players like Casemiro make the Man United back four a lot better than they technically can be.
As well.
Yeah, Partey exactly the same, because the back four don't have to face as many interactions.
Even Rodri as well. Like exactly. I think if he didn't play for City, I think they'd be way lower down the table.
Way exposed, man. So exposed, and because you're not exposed as much, when the ball does come to you have time to take the ball down, be composed on the ball. Your confidence is always higher as well if you're not facing as much shots. Maguire had the issue where he's facing so many attacking runs, people running at him, and it's so easy for them to do that. He's going to be exposed in that way, and I feel a bit bad for Maguire because he ain't ever getting back in that team.
Yeah, baby could have run through.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, exactly. So that's what you had in front of him. You had two. Technically, they were playing two defensive-minded midfielders in that role, trying to play one role.
But then neither of them are
exactly. And you still got through.
Yeah.
So, and now you've seen the difference with players like Casemiro coming in, Martinez, Shaw. They're allowed to play Shaw at centre back. That's how little threat there is through the middle and direct to the defenders. They're allowed to play Shaw there. Malacia, who's brand new on the left. That's allowed to happen because you've got that protection. But
you're right.
with Liverpool, I don't see that protection in front of the back four sometimes, and it's gone because there's no legs in the midfield. There's no one there blocking that.
It's the main issue.
It's the midfield, and they haven't replaced it. They've bought Gakpo on the left. They've bought Nunes. They spent way too much for Nunes. I think that deal should not have been 100 million. They've spent too much going forward. When I don't get it wrong, they did need that, but they should have strengthened the midfield. That should have been the priority for them, and they fucked it.
I think they've trying to put all of their cards into this Bellingham thing, but I really don't see how he goes there without Champions League football. Unless they really sell that project to him, I don't see how he goes there with with no Champions League football. Like I think like even someone like Arsenal would have more of a chance of signing him if they were willing to put their hands in their pocket than what.
Surely.
I actually think Declan Rice would be a great signing for Liverpool.
Yeah, if West Ham
Declan Rice would be a top
I think he'd be a great signing.
Yeah.
I think Kone of Borussia Mönchengladbach would be a great signing. I think there's options out there. I mean, even Mateus Nunes at Wolves, he hasn't set the world alight for them, but I think that could be a good option for them. I think they've got options, and I think if they don't get in the Champions League, I'd probably, as world class as Bellingham is, I'd avoid spending 130, 140 million or whatever it's going to be on one player when you've got three midfielders that need to be dealt with. They probably need another centre back as well, because I think Gomez should go. I think Van Dijk's the wrong side of 30. Matip's the wrong side of 30, and they've only really got Konate. They could probably do with another right back as well and cover for Trent. I know they signed that Ramsey geezer who hasn't played, Calvin Ramsey. Like even a backup goalie they could do with as well, because Kelleher is not going to be wanting to be back up at his age.
Yeah, exactly.
So they've got a lot of fires to put out.
And
it's gone stale.